Hey, y'all. Welcome to Candid Conversations with Carla. Well, today we are talking about navigating seasons of transition. What do I mean by navigating seasons of transition? There are times in our lives where spiritually, God is taking us from one place to another. And how do we know that we are in transition? One of the ways that you know that you are in transition is there is all of a sudden a disturbance in your spirit. And what do I mean by that? Things don't feel the same. Maybe you might think that you're extra emotional, but really, what it is that you are feeling something different, and it's in your spirit. And but the thing is not to react emotionally. And it's okay to feel what we feel while we're going through transition, as long as it doesn't affect how you respond when we're going through transition, right? Because the one thing that we don't want to do is actually stay stagnant. It could be maybe, you know, God may be moving you from one job to another. Maybe your assignment in the current workplace is over. And yes, we're not just on our jobs just to be on our jobs. There's usually an assignment for us, whether it's for us and others, and usually it is multi-purposeful. But just so that you know that assignment may be over. Maybe you got all that you needed from that space, and now it's time for you to move on. It could be you have a sudden dissatisfaction. Now, I'm not talking about just you know you're complaining about everything, right? No, I'm talking about where you would even you may have even loved a thing. You may have loved that position. You may have loved that those people that you were had the grace to be around. And that's another thing. How you know that you are in transition, if the grace for that thing or those people have run out, right? All of a sudden you don't have the strength or the energy to deal with those things. Now, of course, all of this is through prayer and fasting and understanding. And I'm not talking about a fleshly thing. I'm not talking about your fleshly like emotions, right? When you get tired of a thing, right? But truly, when God is actually positioning you for something else. And so what do we do in these times of transitions? First, you do have to know how God speaks to you. Whether it's in things, whether it's through the word, whether it's through preaching, motivational words. Does he speak through you to through nature, dreams? There are different ways that God speaks to us, and so initially we may not know that we are in transition, but as I stated in the previous ways that you may experience, how you find out that you're in transition, then that's when you begin to pray about, okay, God, what are you saying in this season, right? Because seasons do actually change. And we can kind of get comfortable in a place, right? Whether it's spiritually, naturally, in a workplace, in a relationship. And that's another thing. God can transition you even within a relationship, right? Maybe He's going to use your marriage for ministry. And so He's causing you and your spouse to grow, or maybe He wants you to start doing a certain thing. Maybe he wants you to start go. He's preparing you to go out as a couple to preach the gospel. And I'm just throwing out an example, but we're just talking about navigating seasons of transition, that can be uncomfortable, right? And it's okay to acknowledge, the uncomfortableness of being in transition, as long as it doesn't stop your progress in seeking God for the next steps, right? But while we're in transition, it is so important to watch what we feed ourselves. Don't start asking everybody else but God what you should be doing in this season, right? Because you're in transition, you are going from the old to the new, and so there may be new things that God wants you to pick up, or new habits that He may want you to start doing. And you'd be surprised, right? So let's say, for example, He gives you the instruction to start eating. You know what? For the next 60 days, I want you to eat plant based, you know. But in your obedience in eating plant based, He has shown you or given you revelation for the next step. And so I wanted to highlight that because the smallest of details and the smallest of instructions may lead to the next step. So if you're skipping out, if you've dumbed down that one thing, that small thing that God told you to do, you might miss the instruction for the next thing. Maybe He told you to start running, and it's during your running sessions that God began to speak to you about next step. So I just wanted to actually, encourage you guys who are actually in transition, that it's okay. And it's okay to feel, it's okay if this is a new thing. But we want to stay out of our minds, out of our emotions, as far as what we actually, how we actually carry out going through these seasons of transition. Because really, God knows the plans that He has for us, right? His plans are good. His intent is good towards us. So we want to make sure that we position ourselves to even hear from God for next steps, right? Because ultimately, He knew us before He formed us, and He is the author and the finisher of our faith. So we want to give acknowledge God in all of our ways. And the transition, you're only going higher. And remember that we go from glory to glory and faith to faith. And so, develop, even these seasons of transition are only going to develop your relationship with God, to make it even stronger. So be encouraged, you guys. All right. I will see you next week here on Candid Conversations with Carla at 7:30 Central Standard Time. All right.